Alright, it's time. It's finally time to return to my guilty pleasure reads. I have stayed away from them for a while, but I've got another villainous isekai transmigration manga that I read titled The One Within the Villainess. This one, I don't even know how I came across it. I think it was a recommendation when I was looking something else up, but I am glad I came across it. This is a pretty unique one. I really enjoyed the different take on how this villainous manga played out. It is an otome game villainous story, similar background. The character that transmigrates into the villainous body played the game and really sympathized with her and the struggles and trauma she experienced growing up, just wishing for love. She makes many changes and repairs relationships, but in the end, it didn't matter. Everyone pulled away in favor of the original female lead, leading to the condemnation event. That is the typical story we see in many of these villainous mangas, but for this one, that is just the setup. The transmigration character is not our main character. Instead, the main character is the original villainous character that was trapped in her own body watching everything play out. I won't get into actual spoilers just yet, just letting you know that this is the direction the story takes, and I've not seen that before. I've read ones where the villainess realizes the world is a game or novel or something else, but not in this way. Anyway, the series is complete with 28 chapters available. As far as I can tell, there is not an official release in English just yet. There is also a light novel the manga was based on, and from what I can see, it looks like the light novel is still ongoing, but I am not sure about that. When I started this, I also learned that an anime had been announced for it. No details or release date just yet. It is still very early for that one. Overall, ratings and reviews for this one are very positive. While I really do like the direction this takes, I will say for me, the weakest part is what's happening outside of the villainous revenge elements. It's not bad at all, and really it is still in pursuit of revenge. I just cared for it a little bit less. One element of this story that I can mention without getting into spoilers is the art. I saw comment after comment after comment praising the way the art is handled. I will say, while reading it, I was also in love with the art style as well. It does mainly have this beautiful fantasy style, but switches fast to an almost horror-like style. It also does these very exaggerated looks with the faces for some of the characters. Another thing is that this is actually a villainous character. There are many stories out there where the main character claims they will play the role of the villainess, but really they end up doing nothing and most times even forgive those who wrong them. Here, this character has no forgiveness and works towards ruining everyone involved regardless of the circumstances causing them to betray her. I won't discuss it till we get into the spoilers, but this is also something that I am not a huge fan of for certain reasons. Now, she is a villainous character. She knows that she is a villainess. She acts kind, but deep down, it's really only for the sake of the character who took over her body. Everything she does is with purpose to enact her revenge. Now, as for the actual story, I'll get into spoilers here, so if you don't want to know, skip now. Anyway, the main character as a young girl realizes that she is no longer in control of her body and someone else has actually taken it over. Of course, she is not happy about this at first, but she ends up getting the memories and emotions of the new person. She learns this girl named Emmy is from another world, and the world they are in now is that of a game. Emmy loved the villainous character. She felt such sympathy for her, and now having taken over her body, she wants to correct things so the villainess will have a good and loving life. Unfortunately, when the original female lead appears, she reveals herself to be reincarnated as well and begins manipulating things, throwing accusations at Emmy. Eventually, everyone begins to turn on her, and the main character can only watch from inside her body, unable to do anything. The condemnation event happens, leading Emmy to fall into despair, allowing the main character to regain control of herself. After all of these years and learning so much more about Emmy, she grew very fond of her, cared about her a lot, so she composes herself as she is extremely angry with how things turned out after all the hard work that Emmy did for her benefit, because all she wanted was the villainess to be happy and loved. There's not really much she can do at this point, so she has no choice but to leave, but she is already planning her revenge on every single person that hurt Emmy and turned on her. This is basically the first 2 chapters. The remaining 26 chapters are the plotting and enacting of the revenge. Now, if you had told me that this was going to end with the main character finding some way to remove Emmy from her body and putting her in her own, and they ended up together, I would have believed it. There were plenty of times I felt like this was going to be a GL. I even saw comments thinking that it might be, but I will let you know that it is not. That does not happen. Though, if the main character could have put Emmy in her own body, she would have. She does think about it. Everything she does is for the sake of Emmy. Even the way she acts with others, being very kind, it's because that's what Emmy would do. In reality, it's all for revenge. Now, she is a very powerful and skilled fighter, and this is because Emmy spent much of their childhood training and experimenting with ways to make her stronger using the knowledge from the game. It does result in her being a very capable fighter. With this, and with the help of the Demon King, she handles the task meant for the original female lead and her party, giving them no purpose to leave the kingdom, which means their bond cannot deepen and they cannot gain popularity among the public and nobility. Instead, the main character is out there saving people, getting her image and name spread around, and developing positive relationships with the demon folk. Now, her romantic interest is the Demon King, and this is what I didn't like that much, though it really wasn't that big of an issue for me. Like I said, she does things as Emmy would, not as she would. Every interaction with the Demon King, she acts as Emmy with just a little bit of herself thrown in. He does fall in love with her because she is just this kind and caring and capable person, and at the end, she does agree to marry him, but the way that she describes how she feels, it just doesn't feel like love to me. It really is in a way, but it could have been better, I guess. She basically says that the person he fell in love with was Emmy, and if he loves that part of her, she can love him for loving Emmy. That was really the only thing that I didn't really care for. Just as a last mention, the ending confrontation was crazy. This image where we're given a warning for unmarried women to avert their eyes was hilarious. But then, we get the reason. I did suspect when it was briefly touched on earlier that it was going to be sexual, but I did not expect butt stuff. Certainly would still recommend this series, especially if you enjoy the villainous genre and want a different take on it. It is a complete story. The story is very good, so, give it a try. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. My name is Bean. Check out the description for links to this model and any images used. Okay, bye.